record this here. It says we're live. All right.
All right.
Awesome. So just going to take a minute and go onto my Facebook and share our video with our people.
Yep, sharing now.
Awesomeness.
Shared to my profile. Okay, I'm good to go. I am very studious. As you can see, all of these books behind me, I've read every single one of these books twice.
What?
No, I've never read a single one. I don't even know what they are. Actually, I'm visiting somebody right now, and I'm in their house, and so I just look really, really intelligent because I'm surrounded by knowledge.
So it's not a fake backdrop, it's real?
No, this is real. I can grab one of these books right now and we can talk about it. We could do a book report real fast if you'd like, but I'd be making it up, which could be fun. This book is about, kangaroos and small children.
That's awesome.
And the way that they interact with each other when they ride around in their pouches.
I love it. All right.
Me too. I love that book. It's my favorite book.
So I'm here today with Xane Daniels. I'm Susie Beiler. I am a forerunner and emissary of source codes. And I'm here today with Xane Daniels, and we're talking about the Divine Flow Expo that's happening this weekend, starting Friday.
Just a couple days away.
April 23rd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Xane, just tell me briefly a little bit about yourself.
And I would love to. Yes. I am a Hathor energy healer, and so I work with an extra dimensional collective called the Hathors. If you're not familiar with them, you might be familiar with the Pleiadians or the Arcturians, because the Hathors are an extra dimensional collective just like them. They were incarnated here on Earth during Egypt's golden age, and I was incarnated among them, which is where I learned how to do my main modality, which is called the soul essence activation, which is also the name of my talk. So so those who will be participating in my talk at the Divine Flow Expo, which I believe my talk is on Saturday, and I don't remember the exact time, like 1 or 2 p.m. Pacific time. Anyway, they will receive a 20 or 30-minute activation, so a group healing that will bring the best versions of their past incarnations forward into their current one, especially as it relates to their life purpose. So this is an extremely high vibrational activation that generally you feel it a lot throughout, and at the end, a lot of times people go, oh my gosh, like I feel wide awake and relaxed at the same time.
Nice balance.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And then, then you got to go through that recovery period like people often do, where, because you've received so much high vibrational energy, you might need to sleep a little bit extra, or you might experience some emotional, strange, like random almost emotional experiences over the next 24 to 48 hours. But that's all showing you that something amazing has happened and that you've integrated that powerful energy. And
how do you suggest that someone prepare for something like this? It sounds like a big blast of upgraded energy for someone. So how do you suggest that they get ready to participate in your activation?
Well, you don't have to get ready at all. You're ready right now. You're just ready. So there's nothing you have to worry about at all. One of the things that I do say, though, is that if you wanted to watch it again, because you'll be able to watch it again, you want to wait a few days before you do, so that you can integrate all of that, and then you could watch it again. So sometimes these events, if lots of people are doing this sort of energy healing, you're going to experience it from multiple directions and multiple people and all that, and it'll be a bit much, but that's always a great upgrade as well. So nothing to worry about.
Well, you know what? This is actually a very important topic that I would like to talk about with you. How can we prepare people to integrate this event? Because there are going to be, like you said, a lot of people bringing a lot of activating energy. One of the things that I like to tell people to do is have your water, be hydrated, because that will help with the flow of all of the incoming energy. That will help you flow it and integrate it. get your bare feet on the ground. That will help you to integrate the energy. What are some of your suggestions, Xane?
Yeah, well, I would say that the biggest thing is to move into higher vibrational emotions as much as possible. So one of the things that happens is that you experience this high vibrational energy. And so you feel great. You're like, yeah, this is awesome. I love myself. I love life. I love everything. And I am just going to have the greatest rest of my life possible. Yeah. But then a couple of days later, you go back to your normal everyday thinking. You go back to being like disappointed in things, or feeling unworthy, or having fear or anxiety or worries and all those sorts of things, because you just naturally go back to that. I talk about it all the time. What emotional frequency do you default to? So if you default to frustration, you're always in sort of a frustrated state, then it doesn't matter what happens on the outside of you. It doesn't matter, because you could become a billionaire, but if your default is frustration, maybe at first you'll be like, woohoo, I am very far from frustration. Yeah, I love everything and everything going on. Eventually you will return to your default. So it's super, super important to start working on ways that you can change your default emotion. And the way that I most recommend that is something that I call walking up the chart. And walking up the chart, the emotional frequency chart, or the map of consciousness, was created by David R. Hawkins. And there's plenty of wonderful books by him that talks about this. And I actually have YouTube videos that describe the process. So I don't think any of his books describe the process. The process is, whenever you're having a lower vibrational emotional experience, to actually take a look at that chart. And if you look at the lowest high vibrational emotion, which is acceptance, and you say, okay, what am I frustrated over right now? I might even be frustrated over the fact that I'm always frustrated, right? So what emotion can I jump to? Can I first start working on? The lowest high vibrational emotion is acceptance. So you can say, well, I accept that I'm frustrated most of the time. It's normal. People get frustrated. We're human beings. That happens. That's part of this process. So I shouldn't maybe be so upset with myself. I shouldn't be so frustrated. I can at least accept the fact that, darn it, I'm a regular old human at the very least. So once you can kind of say, yeah, I accept that, then you can move up to the next emotion, and you can move up to optimism is the next one. Okay, so how can I be optimistic about my frustration? I can be optimistic that I will eventually get over it. I can be optimistic that there's some great lesson that's going to be learned from being frustrated. And so once you start to move to acceptance and then to optimism, and you're feeling pretty good about that, now you can move up to the next one, which is excitement. How could I be excited over being frustrated? That's a weird one, right? Like, that doesn't make sense on the surface. But of course, eventually you can say, well, those lessons that I'm going to learn from all of this, they could be pretty exciting. I don't know necessarily what those lessons are yet, but I know that I will get them at the very least. And I have confidence and faith in the fact that those are going to come through. So I can be excited about getting those lessons. I can be excited about the day that I'm no longer frustrated, because I also know that's going to happen. And then you can move up to gratitude. Okay, gratitude. How can I be grateful for my frustration? Well, because of those lessons, and there might be other reasons. I'm just picking those two. And as you move up the chart, about anything, you can put anything there. You can move up the chart about people who insult you, right? Like, you can be really upset. Okay, well, I can accept that they've insulted me, and I can be optimistic that I'm going to learn something. Blah, 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 blah. Like, the whole process works for absolutely everything in life. And so when you receive high vibrational energy, your energy vibration is very high, right? But maybe your mindset vibration, which we don't often talk about, we just go, give us all the energy, high vibrational energy as possible, and everything's going to work out great. And maybe when you get that, your mindset vibration is high too, right? I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. My life is going to be awesome now. I love everything. I love myself. But as you go back into your normal everyday life, your mindset vibration goes to that default, maybe that frustration default or whatever it is. And so what's going to happen to your energetic vibration? It's going to start to descend as well. It's going to regulate so that they're at about the same level.
Yeah.
So when you receive energy vibrational, high vibrational energy work, you really need to work on your mindset, because if you can keep your mindset up, and then they're going to regulate at a much higher level. And then for sure, the rest of your life is going to be freaking amazing.
Also, and thank you so much for that. And also the way I look at this is when we are receiving those higher frequencies that maybe we're not used to in our own lives, it's like an illumination. And so anything that's within us that is of that heavier or denser frequency is going to be, that spotlight's going to shine on it. Right. And so that stuff is going to bubble up and come to the surface for us to deal with. So what you're describing is a perfect tool for that scenario as well. So thank you for sharing that tool. That's excellent. I love it.
Thanks. Yeah. Walking up the chart. And then I've got a bunch of YouTube videos that talk about that in detail. So if anybody wants to check that out.
Great. I mean, I think you described it perfectly just right there. That's great. Right. I mean, I got it, but yeah, by all means, go check out Xane's videos.
Yeah. Don't look at his YouTube channel. Why do we need that?
I mean, you just laid it all out for us, but thanks, no, I think it would be helpful to engage with that idea and concept in more depth and more frequently, because
I teach a class, and that's one of the first things that I teach my students. It's like a 7-week course on called Detach, to detach yourself from negative things, including negative entity attachments. And boy, they use that. Once they learn that, they are rocking, right? It's a huge one.
That's massive. I want to go back to the Hathors for just a bit, because we talked really quickly about that. I remember watching a movie called Song for the New Earth.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
No, I'm not actually.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I highly suggest it. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm totally blanking on the name of the sound healer that the whole movie was about.
It wasn't about Tom Kenyon, was it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I didn't even know that existed. Like I've read Tom Kenyon's books, and I've done, that's awesome. So thank you for telling me about
this movie called Song for the New Earth. And in that movie, Tom Kenyon talks about the Hathors and how they called to him and asked him if he would sing the song for the new earth. And I really resonate with that. As you know, I do some sound healing, and when the Hathors ask him in the movie, like when he's going through the narrative, I'm sitting there in my seat, like tears streaming down my face. I'm like, I'll do it. I'll sing the song for the new earth.
Right. That's awesome.
So the Hathors, I don't mentally know them in depth, but there's certainly a very deep resonance with these beings. So I love that you're bringing forth this energy and then doing a whole soul essence activation around that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, they definitely have me do some audio work as well. So I hear tones that in my head that I do then for people. And it's interesting because I know Tom Kenyon, and his vocal range is incredible. I don't know why when I came here as an incarnation that I chose this one, because my vocal range is nowhere near Tom's, but still, one thing I do have is an incredibly long breath. So I can hit a tone and go, and people are just like, how is he still doing that? So at least I've got that, but I'm nowhere near as beautiful as Tom's incredible voice.
I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm going to see if you're willing to share a Hathor tone with us right now.
Sure.
Awesome.
So what I want to do, though, is I want to actually perform a specific activation. So let's see what one we should do here. See what comes. No, we're not going to do a 30-minute activation. We're going to do a short one. They're like, the soul essence activation. Like, no. So that happens in the, in the expo, right?
Yeah, we're going to do that at the Divine Flow Expo on Friday and Saturday. So you guys who want to be tuned into that, I put the link in the description here on this live stream. So go sign up for that.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you guys are familiar with the Earth Star chakra, right? So that's the chakra that's located below your body and underneath the surface of the earth. No matter how high off the ground you are, that chakra stays underneath the surface of the earth as associated with you. So we're going to go ahead and do an activation very specifically for the Earth Star chakra. All right. So everybody can close their eyes and take a nice big deep breath. And relax as you exhale. Feel yourself sinking into your chair. And so we're going to be doing the Earth Star chakra. They're definitely right here. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say breath in. When I do, you'll take a nice big deep breath. You're going to hold it at the top and you're going to wait for me to say a word. And then you're going to exhale. This word will be a little bit loud and explosive. Earth Star chakra, breath in. Oi! Okay. When you're ready to be as grounded on the earth as you've probably ever been, then you can open your eyes.
Thank you so much for that. I know that was the Earth Star chakra, but I felt that in my heart. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you also to the Hathors for showing up. Beautiful. You really do have an amazing lung capacity.
Yeah, and I actually ran out. Normally I could go for another 20, 30 seconds. So yeah. Very
impressive. I have some maybe minor jealousy as a sound healer. I would like to have that breath capacity also.
Okay. So what's really interesting is if you participate in the activation for the divine flow, when I do the heart and the throat and the solar plexus, that is when my breath expansion happened, was when I did that activation to myself.
Very cool.
And I could really feel it as I was going through, I started off maybe on I started off on the root, of course, but then, the sacral, it was like, okay, I can only breathe in so far. And then I did the solar plexus and I could only go so far. And then I did the heart and I was like, wait a minute, I'm going a lot further, just as I went up the line. So, you'll probably get a little bit of an expansion just from participating in that.
I love it. This is so cool because, as you know, I do soul essence activation also, and yours sounds like a totally different flavor. So this is so exciting to be able to experience.
Oh, do you actually call it the soul essence activation?
I don't call it the soul essence activation, but I call
it a soul essence activation?
Soul essence activation. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I've never run anybody else who calls it that.
Really?
Right? They named it for me. I didn't even know what that was, and so they explained that to me. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, I'm excited to participate in yours.
Yeah.
And see if there's any interesting overlaps.
Corollary. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Xane, for showing up today. Really appreciate your presence and your deep spiritual work that you're going to be sharing at the Divine Flow Expo. So you guys, go ahead and click that link that I put in the description for you. Sign up, register for the Divine Flow Expo happening this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Are we going to have like at least a dozen, maybe 20 people? I can't remember anymore. We have a bunch of presenters sharing.
I think it's 20. I think it's 20.
Yeah, I think it's 20. We have a bunch of presenters sharing some high frequency information and activations for you. So make sure you sign up for that, and then make sure you did the integration work following that. That's just as important as participating in the Divine Flow Expo itself. So the integration work, again, everything that Xane described with the step up.
Walking up the chart.
Walking up the chart. Thank you. And then getting your bare feet on the ground, eating pure food, drinking pure water, allowing everything to flow and integrate through you. These are very important things to focus on when you're bringing in a lot of new frequency information. And not only the new frequencies coming through the Divine Flow Expo, but we also have a ton of waves, high frequency waves hitting the planet right now, which is, it's massive, you guys. So lots of light coming, lots of illumination coming to our planet right now. Integrate as much as you can and be gentle with yourselves. Do a lot of self-care. Thank you, Xane.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Looking forward to seeing everybody on Saturday.